The Wii U was a console that did not receive a whole lot of love back when it came out in 2012, but Nintendo did launch some pretty amazing games during its disappointing lifespan, and it made myself, who was a day one adopter, very pleased to play some of the first truly HD Nintendo games. However, due to me playing many of these games already, I never get crazy excited for the Switch versions of them to come out. Sure, they may look a bit nicer with higher resolutions or frame rates, but honestly, none of them have ever brought anything that was large and new to the table. However, this is now all changed, and I'm sorry Nintendo, but I think you kinda just created a monster of expectations with ports and remakes going forward. Welcome to the channels, ladies and gentlemen. I am so glad to have some people here with me today, and I just wanted to say that if you do enjoy this video, please remember to hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. And if you do enjoy my content, consider subscribing, because I'm trying to do weekly videos and uploads, so clicking that bell notification can get you hooked up with everything that I end up putting out. And with that being said, I just want to welcome you guys to my Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury review for the Nintendo Switch, and let's hop into this. Super Mario 3D World is your typical Mario game in which Mario and the gang are minding their own business and they stumble upon a glass pipe. Sidebar, there was times as a teenager where I also played with glass pipes. I'm sorry, Mom. And from out of the glass pops a fairy-like creature. Bowser is doing evil Bowser things and stealing the Sprixies. The story of Mario is always usually the same formula, and it doesn't do anything new here. However, the thing that always has stuck out to me about Super Mario 3D World is its twist on gameplay. Growing up with a Super Nintendo, my first and probably favorite Mario game even to this day is Super Mario World. It was a fairly linear experience overall in level design, unlike the 3D Marios that followed after it, but it was bright and colorful, and it had some of the best power-ups and let you discover little secrets if you used them properly. However, pretty much everything that came after Super Mario World, for me, never felt quite the same. We have had decent 2.5D Marios since then with, new Super Mario Bros. Games, but they always felt way more like the original NES games and less like my beloved 16-bit experience. However, during the 3DS and Wii U lifespan, we did get two of the games I would consider the closest to a Super Mario World sequel. A game called Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS, and a spiritual successor called Super Mario 3D World. Both titles somehow managed to feel like a great mixture of the 3D Mario games, but with that more linear level design, great power-ups, and the secret areas that made Super Mario World so amazing. While playing Super Mario 3D World, your basic goal is to collect hidden stars throughout each level, to further progress and unlock boss stages and the like. Levels can be pretty different from one to another, so it doesn't really ever get stale. Most levels have the straightforward design, as previously mentioned, that is more like the 2D Mario games, with loads of platforming, but the power-ups that you get are really fun, with ones like the Mega Mushroom, where you become ridiculously big and destroy everything in your path, or the Super Bell, which makes you look like the iconic fluffy kitty from the box art, and you can climb walls and attack Goombas with your claws. The game also has navigational power-ups like the propeller box, which adds a great level of verticality, and the ice skate, which is like a little bumper car for Mario. There are some ways to weaponize yourself, like with the cannon box so you can shoot projectiles, or you can pick up a piranha plant to attack enemies. The last power-up I wanted to talk about was the Double Cherry, which does add some interesting moments, but it can be a little overbearing if you're playing couch co-op. All it does is clone the character you're playing as, and you have to maneuver them properly throughout the level. It is a cool idea, but I didn't care for it much. I am somewhat sad that Yoshi through the years has become more self-conscious and no longer wants to be your faithful steed. But I suppose the game makes up for it with the sea dinosaur that you get to ride in some levels. There are also Captain Toad levels sprinkled throughout, which can be utterly annoying if you have drifting Joy-Con issues, but regardless, these are fun, small puzzle levels that break up the normal gameplay. The boss battles are all pretty creative and fun. Sadly, much in line with Nintendo, they tend to just be a bit too easy. The game on the Wii U included a couch co-op mode, and that is back and as fun as ever. My wife and I had a great time playing this on our date night away from the children, and if you're in a romantic relationship, this actually came out at a really good time if you're both into video games. The Switch also added an online co-op mode that I haven't tried myself, but it plays the same way as couch co-op, with the only exception being that only the host of the match gets to keep the level progression. Also, there is no in-game chat, so you are forced to use this stupid phone app. I don't even understand why this is a thing, but yeah, you'll have to use the phone app if you want to talk to your friends while playing. I don't have too much to say about the graphics other than that the game does look drastically better than when it was on the Wii U, and it runs at a very pretty 60 frames per second. It does look pretty great overall, and especially the water reflection in the Bowser's Fury side game. With that all being said, let's talk about Bowser's Fury, because this really is not at all what I had anticipated going into this, and I'm going to be completely honest, it's way better than I thought it was going to be. So the premise is pretty simple. Mario sees some black goo on the ground while in the Mushroom Kingdom, and it sucks him into a portal. After landing in a giant footprint, he gets up to find himself in a rainy island and starts following the path upwards. A few cracks of lightning later, and we see a gigantic kaiju-style Bowser standing in the middle of the lake as he awakens. This makes the opening feel so epic, and it puts you right into the action, running away from molten debris and hiding from Bowser's fire breath. It's such a fantastic opening that immediately hooked me in. However, when you get to the lighthouse and you collect a thing called a cat shine, it turns the lighthouse on and removes the black goo coming from Bowser, and he ends up retreating into the lake. The rain then stops, and you find Bowser Jr., who explains that he needs your help to save his dad. From this point forward, you're set loose on Lake Lapcat and are given an open world to explore. And it is surprisingly big in scope, consisting of 3 unlockable areas as you collect more cat shines and complete Bowser battles. Now, it plays completely differently than pretty much any Mario game before it, and I think this is mainly due to the world state changing. When it's all sunny and nice, you can do your platforming, collect the cat shines, and explore the lake. But if you pay close attention to the background, you will see Bowser's shell rising from his watery slumber, and it will start to spin and produce rain. When this happens, it's only a matter of moments before Bowser attacks. During these instances, you only have a few options. You can run or hide from Bowser's Fury, you can quickly collect a cat shine and make him retreat back into the lake, or you can go head to head with Bowser if you have enough cat shines. To engage in battle with Bowser, you must have the required number of cat shines to activate the Giga Bell, which will turn Mario into the Super Saiyan Kitty Cat. The battles are really cool, and while I do wish they had a bit more variety to them, they are at least slightly more challenging than other bosses from the series. Also, not really a complaint, but I did find a funny way to avoid Bowser very easily after my first few battles with him. This trick was only possible because they did add another cool feature, which is the levels do change slightly after more battles happen and progress is made to the mode. For instance, each area only shows that 1 cat shine is hiding in the vicinity at first, but each lighthouse has 5 slots for cat shines to be placed. So when you come back around to the area after playing a bit longer, you'll see that there's some changes in the areas, some small, some big. But the changes encourage a re-exploration so you can find more cat shines. Even though these are seemingly small choices, it does make for a more dynamic experience, and in returns, this makes it feel so refreshing to play when compared to other Mario games. And I really think that Nintendo's next big Mario game needs to have these elements, but on an even bigger scale. Also, unlike 3D World, which is a level-by-level design, and Mario Odyssey, which has open world levels, Bowser's Fury is completely open once you unlock an area. Like, once the game is loaded in, you're good to play non-stop. You can travel area to area, no problems. I don't know if I would say it's more open than Mario Odyssey, because that is obviously a much bigger game than this, but Odyssey did separate its level designs drastically. Like, you have a sand level and an ice level, the moon level. You get the idea, everything's separated. This is all together. So while playing Bowser's Fury, kind of made me wonder what they could do with a more natural progression in an open world Mario game. Maybe where it has more modern game design while still being the silly Mario games that we all know and love. It's a hard thing to explain, but I just think that the easiest way to understand it is they need to make a Mario game that has a more seamlessly transitional world like Bowser's Fury, and it being truly open with dynamic bosses. makes it a lot better, you know, not just these boxing ring encounters that we got during Mario Odyssey. The last thing I wanted to mention about Bowser's Fury is that it does have a local multiplayer mode, and I did try to play it with my wife, and sadly it's not exactly a great co-op experience when compared to 3D World. One character controls Mario and the other controls Bowser Jr., and this would be fine if it had fixed cameras or perhaps some sort of tether to keep Bowser Jr. in Mario's frame at all time, but it doesn't. The third-person camera is locked to Mario's control, and considering Bowser Jr. can easily go off screen, this makes it difficult to play co-op, with my wife not really being able to tell where she is or stay on the screen very easily. And I would implore Nintendo to add some kind of camera options to make this a little bit more of a approachable co-op experience. You could easily just make the camera a little bit further back from Mario's character and make the four edges of the screen as far as Bowser Jr. is allowed to go. Also, if Nintendo was willing to add one more mode to the game, it would be really cool to have a player versus player option where someone is Super Kitty Saiyan Mario and the other is Fury Bowser. But I digress, its current form of multiplayer is kind of just disappointing. Aside from creative gameplay mechanics and the hope it gives us all for the future of Mario endeavors, it is a pretty short experience with mine clocking in around a 3-hour playthrough, but I honestly can and will spend more time playing this game. It's a lot of fun, and I want to collect all the cat shines and explore the world completely. There are 100 total cat shines to collect, and my guess is that it could take 8, maybe even 10 hours to collect them all depending on your playstyle and if you're using a guide or not. I will say this has been a really great experience and I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and honestly, while I can't necessarily recommend a $60 purchase for Bowser's Fury alone, I purchased it mainly for that, and you know, I haven't been disappointed. So if you have not played Super Mario 3D World at all, this is absolutely worth the purchase price. Then if you're like me who did play it on the Wii U, maybe it's time to give it another shot, and you know, I've been replaying it with my wife and we've both been having a great time. Super Mario 3D World is around 10 to 12 hours for the average gamer on just the story content, and much longer if you're going to be going for extras or a completionist playthrough. So overall, I highly recommend picking this up, since Super Mario 3D World is a criminally underrated Mario game, and you know, that's mainly due to the lack of Wii U owners throughout time. So you know, this is really a chance for the game to finally get the love it deserves, and considering it is the year of Mario's 35th anniversary, it's a no-brainer to get it in celebration of that monument. Well, that's it for my review, you guys. If you did enjoy it, please remember to click the like button, and if you can, consider subscribing and clicking the bell notification so you can keep up to date with any of my content. And also, let me know in the comments section down below if you're actually planning on picking up Super Mario 3D World, or if you're just going to take a pass on it for now because you've either played it or, you know, you just want to maybe play something else this month. And until I see you again in my next video, have a great week.